Morning, everyone. Welcome to my audio commentary. This is Spaceman Spiff, and today I have for you an Undead versus Orc on Wetlands. So, I've already casted a game on Wetlands before, so I've spoken about it a bit. It's definitely not a competitive level map. It's a good thing it's not played competitively, because there are a lot of different issues with the map, with the high ground ramp to get to the base being the only entrance. Means certain races have an advantage when defending. It means, also that a lot of the creeps are really difficult, so it can be really hard for some of the races to creep early on. So you have to kind of accommodate and do a different strategy, I feel, specifically on Wetlands. So that works very well for me because that's the kind of game I like to play. So you can see I've gone for the standard Crypt Fiend opening where I did Crypt Graveyard. I'm trying to build my base in such a way that a Blademaster will not be able to get to my acolytes. So you can see I'm building my altar here, but I'm going to build a ziggurat right in this area because I'm pretty sure this will be a wall for the Blademaster, and that's what I'm thinking at this point. I'm also, I guess I should speak on that. I'm definitely expecting to see a Blademaster because Wetlands is the kind of map that Orc needs to go Blademaster. Orc is one of those races that will really struggle to creep here if they don't go Blademaster, because after the green, they start dealing a lot of damage, so a Farseer is questionable. Also, of course, the Blademaster is the number one most frequent hero you're going to see from Orc, so it's probably a safe assumption to go with either way. Notice I haven't scouted. That's because I'm undead, I'm random, so I don't want him to know that I'm undead without him having the scout. And it's a map where I'm not going to be able to play particularly aggressively. I'm not going to be able to win the game early because of the map and the distance to get to his spawn, whether or not he's here, or here. It's a long travel time. I felt pretty comfortable that this game wasn't going to be going for 5 minutes. This is not a rush map. So you can see I did screw up my build order a bit because I was so anxious about getting this ziggurat up in time. But I do have a wall off here, and I will check once my Dreadlord spawns. So I'll speak about that in a moment. But like my previous Undead game as well, where I went Dreadlord Ghoul build with, a Fiend build with only ghouls, it's really strong for fast expanding and creeping. So that's my thought process here. I'm going to try and fast expand, which is definitely dicey. If I get caught trying to creep this by a Blademaster and a couple grunts, that could be really bad for me. But in the event that I get it up, that's, of course, really strong. And this strategy, I feel I'm pretty reliable, or I'm pretty confident that I'm able to secure my expansion against an Orc player most of the time using this strategy. When the tier 2 hit comes, that might be a different story. But at least from stopping the Blademaster harass, it feels pretty strong. So you can see my Dreadlord comes out. I'm testing right now to see if he can get behind, and I'm happy to find that he can't. So as soon as this spawns, I'm going to bring my ghouls. I'm going to buy a Rod of Necromancy and nothing else. I should have bought Dust. I didn't buy Dust. That's okay. And I have my ghouls still rallied to wood. So I have at least one ghoul on wood. I should have a second one. I'm bringing on second Acolyte. Ooh, and I think I just might have been scouted. Oh, he might have just missed me there. So I'm coming south. I'm lucky he missed me, but that's gonna happen at these lower tier games, right? So I sleep the level 3 and just focus down the level 6 because sleep is not effective against creeps level 6 and up. They wake up as quickly as heroes do, and I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to try and have an easier creep time here. So I kill the level 6, and then I kill the level 3, and then I'll wake up the level 3 at the end. This is a really easy creep camp to take. Sleep is great against early creep camps. You can really do a lot of damage that you normally wouldn't be able to. You can see I'm building a Haunted Gold Mine and a Necropolis immediately. So that's why I didn't buy a Blightstone to build ziggurats. I wanted a Necropolis so that I'm able to teleport here if need be. And also, because... as soon as I get the resources, I'm going to tech well before these are up. So I'm expanding, but I'm teching pretty early. My tech's going to be 25% through by the time my Haunted Gold Mine comes on. Honestly, yeah, there it goes. So there's my tech. There's my scout. I see he's building a tower. He's still tier 1, and there's a war mill. Well, of course, there's a war mill. He's building a tower. But this means that he's doing something cheesy as well. Right? This means something cheap is coming my way, just like something cheap is coming his way. So I'm going to have to adjust appropriately. Thankfully, the Dreadlord is really strong, I think, in these kind of situations. Because, you know, if we really look at this, it's starting to look like he's going to do some cheesy tower strategy, right? He's still tier 1. He's got a Blademaster running around. I don't know that. I'm going to tell you. He does have Blademaster. I expected it. So those games usually entail a Blademaster running around uncontested, causing problems with Windwalk, while he just masses up towers in his base and tries to win that way, right? Sneak up another expand and build mass towers. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, and the Dreadlord is amazing at dealing with that, because, you know, I'm not going to be able to get sleep surrounds because Windwalk will run through, but once I hit level 3 and then level 5, so I have level 2 and then level 3 sleep, I can just keep a Blademaster asleep for, like, unless he has another hero to wake him up, I can keep him asleep indefinitely. So that's kind of what I was thinking. At this point, I'm like, okay, so he's going something cheesy, but I've got the Dreadlord, so I'm okay. I'd much rather have a Dreadlord against a cheesy orc than I would the Death Knight, so I really like my position. And I came up here, I saw he hadn't crept these greens, he hadn't crept his expansion, and he hadn't crept the item shop. So again, bells are ringing, something is going wrong. I do manage to scout out his grunt, so he has crept something, so now I know he is creeping, and he's not crept close to his base, so he's definitely doing something cheesy. I screw up a couple surrounds. I probably should have just slept a grunt and gone for the grunt surround kill. Instead, he deals a lot of damage to my hero. I'm going to put him to sleep and just run away. It buys me time. When I say I'm happy with the Dreadlord, it doesn't mean I'm happy with him right now. The Blademaster is still stronger than the Dreadlord at this stage in the game. I'm not going to be able to focus him down with ghouls and sleep. He's going to be able to chase down my hero. So I start running around. I didn't want him to see my expansion, but it's really hard to hide on Wetlands because it creeps through to the other side of the forest. So I'm sure he knows at this point. But let's look. I've got 3 ziggurats going up. I did not build this well. I should have built my necropolis further out so I could do a wall similar to this one so the Blademaster couldn't get through. I screwed it up, but it's okay. I still have my 3 ziggurats going up. I'm building my acolytes now, and I'm almost through my tech. I'm probably not too far behind the average tech time. And don't get me wrong, I'm not on par, but it's not a bad strategy, right? I prevented him from coming to harass me while it was going up by standing outside his base and trying to creep jack and harass. That's what my goal was there with 4 ghouls and a Dreadlord. I didn't expect to deal a whole lot of damage. But if he has to deal with me and he's chasing my army around, that gives my expansion time to get situated. And that's what's happened. So now we can see I'm back here. I went to grab another Rod of Necromancy, pick up a couple more ghouls because I expect that the Blademaster will be on me shortly. And immediately I build a Nerubian Tower. This is going to be a Spirit Tower. And this is going to be a Spirit Tower as well. And here comes his push. So he did see it. It's unfortunate that I didn't wall off effectively because I could have my acolytes completely out of reach right now. But I sleep as Blademaster. My towers are going up, and with just this number of grunts or ghouls, I'm able to buy time against his grunt Blademaster. This Blademaster goes for my hero while I go for his grunt. So I screw up my surround. He continues to chase me. And, you know, like, my hero's in danger now. I'm definitely going to lose my hero, but he has overcommitted because there's no way to fit out here. So what I do, I notice he's stuck, and you'll see I hold position. So my ghouls are not optimally attacking right now, but I am making sure that these 2 grunts and this Blademaster are not able to get out. I'm going to force this scroll of teleportation, and I'm going to get these grunt kills. And this is a massive win for me. Well, at least if it goes through as expected, it's going to be a massive win for me. But there's not a lot he can do. He overcommitted going for my hero. And now I'm putting a lot of damage on his Blademaster. I'm making sure my Nerubian was focusing the Blademaster just to slow down whatever attack time I could. And he still has his 3 grunts here. So at this point, he's definitely making a mistake. At least 2 of these grunts did not have to die. But he wanted my ghoul kills. And I just pulled him back here because ghouls fit where grunts don't. And I managed to really secure a lot of time here by getting those 3 grunts and forcing his Blademaster to use all his mana and teleport out. He lost 600 golden grunts plus time, plus he has to regenerate mana now, and my expansion is secured. Granted, I'm thinking he probably has tried to expand as well, because I know he hasn't crept here, I know he hasn't crept here, I know he hasn't crept here, and yet he's level 2 and had some grunts healing. So this is definitely the most logical spot. And it's on my radar right now, but I also know I don't have the army to deal with it. So as soon as I hit tier 2, I start attacking to Black Citadel. You can see I'm delayed in my Death Knight because I lost my Dreadlord, but now my Death Knight's on the way. I have a Temple of the Damned, so I'm going Necromancers again, because I was thinking I would be able to try and just swarm. I wanted to go Ghoul Necromancer and swarm the base where something weird was happening, and Necromancers are really good at dealing with something weird. They're like the weird counter to weird. So I was going Necromancers here, and Slaughterhouse I'm going to start getting statues, and I'll just keep pumping out ghouls. Usually I would have 2 crypts by this point. I think I'm going to throw down another crypt soon just so I can ensure good ghoul production. But either way, my tech's going through, his Blademaster comes back to harass. I see his items are completely, like, he purchased items. He's harassing all game. There is really no doubt in my mind at this point. This is going to be a long game of Blademaster harassment and towers. Like, that has to be what's happening at this point. So I do manage to keep my 3 ghouls alive. One of them died to his initial push, but even though I don't have a perfect wall off, I still have a pretty good setup in that my ghouls can run around this way, which the Blademaster can't do. Same with Acolytes, they can go in here, which the Blademaster can't do. So there are paths which will delay him, but it's still not as comfortable as I'd like it to be. So that's why I was saying it. I know at this point, there's no doubt, once I saw his circlets and he came in again to get some kills, I knew this was a Blademaster harass game exclusively, so I got my Sacrificial Pit, and I'm going to start pumping out some Shades. Meanwhile, I'm creeping, getting what experience I can. Hopefully this will get me level 3. The level 6 Marauder is really tough, but a Potion of Invulnerability is nice. I believe I put it on my Dreadlord, yeah. Just because I know I have a heal in the Death Knight, so it makes sense to give him the invulnerability and just allow my Death Knight to keep my Dreadlord alive. But the Blademaster's tricky. I think my Dreadlord is more valuable than my Death Knight at this point in the game. And I wanted to keep my hero alive. So I left it on the Dreadlord. Who's almost level 3. I probably should have let him get to level 3 instead of bringing the Death Knight in. But, you know, it is what it is. Here's his Blademaster, invulnerability potion to get another ghoul kill. Standard, frustrating, nothing I can do about it, and now he's going to Windwalk and disappear. So, that's the way it goes. I'm going to keep my units together, and I now have my first Shade out. So my Shade's coming down, and going to go right to my hero. I believe, yeah, I'm building an Acolyte. I'm going to get a second Shade as well. So this one, he's right in my control group. Control group 1 is my hero, my ghouls, and my Shade, and it's going to stay in my control group for the rest of the game. That Shade is never leaving unless he kills it, because Blademasters are a pain in the ass. Sorry, I shouldn't swear. Blademasters are difficult, and I don't want to be creep-jacked. And as soon as he comes into creep-jack with a Dreadlord, you're safe, because he'll come, he'll start running, and I'll sleep him. Then I can finish my creep calmly. I can run away, I can do some damage, whatever I want. So you can see he comes in here. I'm sure he tried to get in behind my base, but was not able to because it's walled off, and I made a point of not letting my ghouls go to this wood or this wood, as you can see. And so he's picking off some ghouls, but he can't do a whole lot of damage. I also have my Necromancers rallied back behind this wall, so even though he scouted it, normally he would have been able to kill 3 Necromancers. Instead, he can't get any. They're out of range, and if he tries something cheesy, I can always resurrect some skeletons. I've got anti-air in the skeleton, so I'm in a pretty safe spot there with my Necromancers. I can also bring my ghouls back there, which I'm going to do. And here's that second crypt I was talking about. Also, my Shade is out, so he's revealed when invisible, but I don't think it's going to stay there for too long. Creeping here, I see him running around. I let my Shade follow him for a little bit, but another problem is the Blademaster is just so fast. You can't keep up with the Blademaster. So he comes in to harass, but now I've got my Shade in my base. So immediately I start microing this Acolyte, and like I said, he can't get through here, so I can do this. And as long as I've got the Shade, he's moving slow, he's kind of clumsy, you can't do a whole lot of damage there. So now this Shade, staying in my base for the rest of the game. That Shade is situated. Unless he kills it, I'm going to keep it here, and it will dissuade the Blademaster harass. You'll see I'm building another Shade, and this one's going to stay right here for the rest of the game. So it's not like I'm overcommitting. It's not like I'm using these to scout, which I probably should, because I still haven't checked to ensure that he has the expo there. I'm just confident that he does. I'm just using them defensively. I'm not trying to do anything too fancy. I'm not trying to like keep them in key locations or patrol them. I'm just control group at my expansion, at my main. It sits there. It's effectively a sentry ward. I don't need to control it again. But it'll slow the Blademaster down and it'll prevent the harass. So I think one of the main things people have in dealing with Orc Mass Towers is, or one of the main problems people have in dealing with Orc Mass Towers is that they panic and try and attack into it and try and beat them to the punch. But that's absolutely not the approach to take. I think it's much more play a controlled, slow game, because the Blademaster is annoying and dangerous and deals damage, but he can be dealt with. And as long as you can keep the Orc on 1 or 2 bases and ensure that all his resources are going into items and towers, then he's not going to have an army, and that means even though the Blademaster will be annoying, you should be able to maintain map control, especially when you're using shades to keep your worker lines safe. And I'm taking my time. You'll see I've now jumped over to 69 of 80 food, and I'm quickly going to go to 80 of 80 food, and that's what I'm pushing. So standard protocol, you don't break 50 food until you have enough resources to quickly jump over to 80, because as soon as you break upkeep, you're getting 7 gold instead of 10. So you're losing 30% of your income as soon as you break 50. That's why I didn't pressure too early. I was only on ghouls and a couple necromancers, and I felt like if I tried to hit him when I wasn't prepared, the Blademaster and towers would be able to, cause problems and manipulate me and eventually hold. I waited till I was at the 70, 78 or 80 army, and that's what I'm going to do now. So I leave a couple ghouls on wood. I bring the fiends with me in case he's an orc and he's trying something like Mass Bat Rider, or he's got some Wind Riders or Wyvern in there. It's always a good idea to have a couple of fiends. They're never going to hurt your army, and it's nice to have an insurance policy. So I come through, I see a Demolisher, so he's clearly thinking about taking out my expansion. I also see a Sentry Ward, so I'm not sure if he picked up the item Sentry Ward or if he has Witch Doctors at this point. And I see he still hasn't crept his expansion. So I'm here, I have the time, my army will very quickly melt through these creeps. So I figured I'll take it. I've got level 3, almost level 4 on the Dreadlord. Will I get it? I think I might. No. I do. Nice. So I got level 4 on the Dreadlord, which is very nice. This is Blademaster here. Nice. And I have a level 3 Death Knight. And I send my skeletons in to go scout, and there's my confirmation. Mass Towers and Demolishers, alright? Come down here. Mass Towers. So you see, LOL. One of these games again. So this is kind of a precarious position. You don't want the Orc to have a secure expo. He's already got a lot of towers up. This means, though, that he's really invested in this. All of the resources he's gotten out of this expansion so far have gone to the towers. He can't have much wood because he has all this. He doesn't have an army. I know he doesn't have an army. So I thought, okay, this is the chance. I'm trading all my ghouls in to take out this expo. I have 2 armor upgrades, so they do okay. Like that helps. Plus Ghoul Frenzy against the towers, which are not fortified yet. So I'm sitting in an okay position, and with my 3 necromancers at full health, master status, every upgrade possible, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to take out this expansion. So I commit, because I don't want him to get it. As soon as an orc has a second expansion, now he's got an easy way to take this one, because I'll be blocked off. He's also got an easy way, or an easier route to take this one, because my paths won't be as concrete. So I wanted to commit here. Take down 3 towers. His Blademaster comes in. Immediately I see it with my shade and start focusing it. He uses his invulnerability potion, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. Resurrect Dead, take out these towers. You'll see he's going for my Death Knight. I'm going to put him to sleep, run my Death Knight, leave him asleep. I don't need to try and surround him or go for hero kills. I just need to kill his towers and his expansion. It doesn't matter if his hero's awake or not. It doesn't matter if he's here. So he runs away. Had he chosen to stay, I just would have slept him again. So this was a big find for me. This was very important. If I hadn't waited till 80 of 80 food, that would have been a really difficult expansion to take out. Even if I had gone at 50 when he only had 3 or 4 towers and I had ghouls but no ghoul frenzy and a couple necromancers but they weren't upgraded, it would have been a lot more difficult. Having the 2 armor upgrades was really useful, so I could absorb just a couple more shots from the towers. and in having, of course, the necromancers is what overwhelmed him. So yeah, I managed to take out the expo. You can see the game is still nowhere close to over. It's going to be a long game, as Orc Tower games are. So I'll fast forward through certain points of it, but I think for now we're still good to watch at normal speed. Anyway, you can see I've got this remaining of my army. I still have some ghouls. I've got 3 fiends, 2 statues, and 3 necromancers. That's the extent of the range. And I was going to go creep the red, but he's sieging me out now with his demolishers. So I still have my shade here, which is nice, but I quickly send my ghouls up. And ghoul-frenzied ghouls do great against demolishers. So he's getting some picks. I'm running my acolytes. This is what an orc does, and it's frustrating as hell. There's nothing I can do about it. So you can see I quickly throw down my other 2 ziggurats. I leave my shade here, just like a sentry ward, and watch how I'm going to play this. I was thinking I can probably overrun this base, just like I overran the last one. That's what I'm thinking at this point. So I go and I leave my Dreadlord at my main, and I regroup. Took my Dreadlord completely out of my control group. So I'm going to try and push with my army and my Death Knight, just leaving my Dreadlord here to nullify the Blademaster. And I think it's a great strategy, and no one does it. So I put him to sleep. He's invisible, but I can see him because of the shade. And we're going to hang out here as I regroup. So you can see I'm getting my control group situated. I'm pulling everything together. He starts attacking against sleep. And I'm supply blocked, so I can't replenish my acolytes. But put him to sleep. And start marching forward. And then I'm going to put him to sleep again. And here I lay on the attack. But the difference is now he has fortified towers. And I overcommit. I think I misplayed this push completely. I was focused on trying to keep the Blademaster asleep like I'm doing. And I wanted to run in and overwhelm him. I was not prepared for this number of fortified towers, though. And I probably could have kept some things in and taken out these demolishers, but I panicked. I saw that I was just all over the place and didn't like what was going on, so I pulled everything back. He has more towers going up. But his Blademaster is thrown off. So now he's here, trying to go for my hero, but I've got that shade in my control group here somewhere. So I could see him when he was invisible. There he is. No, he's in there somewhere. There he is. And Master Necromancers. Even though I don't need bodies anymore, I've kind of reached the point where I'm not going to go ghouls, because ghouls just can't get through this, even with Necromancers at their back. But I have Cripple. So I cast Cripple on him. He's invisible. I've got Coil. And I can chase him down. So the thing with Necromancers, and I think with a lot of spellcasters, is a lot of their moves get forgotten. You don't see Cripple used very often, just like on Holy Frenzy. You don't see it very often. You don't see a lot of Purge from the Shaman, and you don't see a lot of... Yeah, you get what I'm going for. And it's important to make use of those, especially when you have them on hand. So using that Cripple did snag me a Blademaster kill, which buys me a lot of time. So now here I am. I know my Dreadlord is free to leave now, so I'm getting my last Acolyte here. Still have it scouted. I'm taking unnecessary damage here because he lured me out with a Demolisher, but that's okay. He's got a Sentry Ward here. I did see a Witch Doctor at some point. There we go. So he is going Witch Doctors and placing Sentry Wards. And I'll say this is a player who really knows what he's doing. He was ranked top 100 on Azeroth, exclusively plays Orc. He had a higher win percentage than me, I believe. So he probably does this strategy more often than not, and he knows how to do it. So he's using Sentry Wards from Witch Doctors to keep vision on the outskirts of his base. He's using Demolishers to like poke and prod and ensure that no one can come up the main, because the towers are situated in such a spot that as soon as I get vision, I'm under siege from those and Demolishers. So he's really good. He knows how to defend, and I'm not going to be able to get up that base. So just like the last time we played on Wetlands, I'm not going to go up. I'm going to set up here, and I'm not going to let him leave his base. For the rest of the game, as long as he doesn't expand, I'm going to be able to choke him out. So like I was saying before, it's not a matter of rushing. It's not a matter of taking out the Orc before his towers are up. It's not a matter of keeping the Blademaster at level 2 or you know, something like that. You don't have to kill the Blademaster. You don't have to go all in trying to hunt this thing down. You just need to play calm. So I scouted out just to make sure he hadn't expanded, and I see that he's trying again. He's got 2 towers. So immediately I'm going to send my army down to deal with that after I stop getting drawn out by the Demolishers. But yeah, I know his hero is still probably resurrecting. He's not here yet. Yep. So I have a bit of time. I just came down and I kill these watchtowers, kill these peons, because if the orc cannot expand anymore, then I'm going to win this game. It might take a long time, but I'm going to win this game. So I send my shade here. It's not crept. And I remember thinking about it. It's like I could go and creep this and take the items and the experience, but at the same time, I don't want the orc to be able to sneak up an expansion on me, and I don't think he's going to have an opportunity to creep these. He's got a level 4 or level 5 Blademaster, which might be able to get there, but I intend on keeping the rest of his army locked inside his base, unable to move. So I think I can speed the game up a little bit right now. You can see I've got an Acolyte here, so I thought best way to prevent him from expanding is to expand myself. You can see gold mines are basically out, so I know he's running out of gold. He's going to have to make some moves soon. There it goes. And I come. So I've got a scout here. I'm expanding here. I know this is not crept yet, and I know this is not crept yet. These acolytes are going to come down. And I'm just going to wait. You'll see I went meat wagons to try and siege him out. But it's already looking rough. He's ready for me. I'm sure he's got sentry wards somewhere. And 4 demolishers with burning oil are enough to keep 2 meat wagons at bay. And doing his thing, he comes, he doesn't attack. He's trying to pull me into his towers so he can engage a fight on his level, like at his discretion. And I just don't want to give it to him. I don't want to fight up there. I don't need to go up there. I am under no obligation to go up there. I can just wait. So this one's going up. This one's going up now. I expanded here as well because I figured I don't need the gold, but I have the map. I'm going to take the map, and I don't want the Blademaster to do anything. So as soon as this goes up, you'll notice I do have a shade here. I've pulled my army back. The difference between this and last game is that a Blademaster can always windwalk by, and you're not going to be able to keep a Blademaster stuck in his base. But I am able to keep the army. And I see the Blademasters come down to my expansion and getting picks on the Acolyte, like Blademasters are always going to be doing in these mass tower strategies. So I come down, calm, patient, just wait it out. I've still got a shade here. This one's going up also. Calm. I'm sending some ghouls there to protect it while leaving my Dreadlord here. So if the Blademaster were to continue harassing here, I'd put him to sleep. If he comes here, then I've got at least an army to keep him at bay. Or if he comes to my expansion, I left my ranged army here, along with a shade in the towers. He's not going to be able to do a whole lot. So again, I'm just keeping him locked down. He's trying to come siege me with his demolishers while I'm down there. But I had my wheat wagons here and managed to pick off a kill. I'm sure he's going to get a meat wagon kill as well. Yeah, maybe even 2. Probably 2. Frustrating, right? He's picking up kills and experience, but he has no income. I've now set up a wall. So this is just like I had here and what I should have done here. I don't need a necropolis anymore. I'm not going to be teleporting to this. But by setting up this wall and having a shade behind it, he's not going to be able to get through. And you can see that's exactly what I'm doing here too. Buying time, waiting patiently. Still my Dreadlord's here. Just let my expansion get up. Keep the Blademaster from dealing damage. Over here, he can't get this. If he comes down here, it's walled off. Still a little vulnerable. He could take that out. But I can transition quickly, and that's my 3rd gold mine, right? I don't need a 3rd gold mine. That's just so that he can't have it and to ensure my lead. So I've still got my shade here. I'm going to speed up the game a little bit because it's still sitting tight. Now that this one is safe, I feel like he can't take it out anymore. I sent my Dreadlord here. And my shade's here. So I saw that he was at my expansion. My Dreadlord comes running over. He's trying to move out again. I catch him and sleep. I'm just going to, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? He has to run away. And now I come here. Wait it out. Once this is up and running, he's stuck again. Waiting it out. Waiting it out. Patience. Patience. It's so important in Warcraft, and I think a lot of new players in particular don't recognize it. Just be patient. If you can exploit a lead, it doesn't mean you're falling behind. So, again, he's got some sentry wards here. My shade picks those off, or reveals vision, so I'm able to pick those off. And I'm throwing away some meat wagons due to poor micro. But this is what his game plan is. This is what he's been trying to do to me all game. Is just lure units up the high ground so that his towers can deal damage. And then he's going to try and pick off the weak units that get away with the Blademaster until he can get level 6 and sneak up something else. So I had this ghoul patrolling back and forth just to make sure these weren't crept. And I saw the Blademaster here. And I have watched this game prior to casting it, and he did manage to kill the level 5. So he's healing and going back and forth with what was a level 4 Blademaster. And he's able to creep a red camp, which surprised me. I didn't think he'd be able to do that. Here you'll see it's reached a point where I've got such a resource advantage that it doesn't matter anymore. I don't need to pool anything. I don't need to worry about resources, so I just get every tech building I can, and I'm throwing up 3 boneyards. I'm starting to upgrade creature attack so that I can try and punch through with Frozen Breath. That was my thought process. Also, Frostworms do pretty well against a Blademaster. Slow him down, high damage output, just because I'm not having any more success with ghouls. Fiends aren't going to do the trick. I have 2 statues, but I don't want destroyers or anything. They're absolutely not going to work against towers. So I thought Frostworms were my next play. You can see I sent my ghoul again. Nothing to worry about there. There's no expansion here. I just need to watch these 2. Still waiting it out. He's still trying to play his game. I finally break high upkeep because, like I said, I'm not worried about resources anymore. I have 3 running expansions and absolute map control. I have 1 shade, 2 shades, 3 shades, 4 shades, 4 shades. I should have more, to be honest. I think I probably lost a couple to his sentry wards because he was very proactive in picking them off. You can see here, I'm playing his game. I'm going in. I didn't need to go in there. I just lost a couple ghouls for no reason. And he, had his Blademaster been around, probably would have gotten some experience. Maybe gotten a pick, maybe gotten this Necromancer kill. But there was some method to my madness there. I was trying to just dump off some of my ghoul army because I wanted to make room for more Frostworms. So you can see, they're coming through. I almost have my first 3. I still have this ghoul patrolling back and forth. And I'm not letting him leave his base. He's still sitting here. So let's check him. At this point, he still has 1,700 gold. He's got a level 5 Blademaster. He's got a lot of wood. And no army whatsoever. Just 4 Demolishers, which he's very comfortable using as defense mechanisms. Look, he's got a Sentry Ward here again, here. He should probably have one here just to ensure vision. And that's all he's doing. He's keeping the defensive structure up with Demolishers, and there's not a whole lot an Undead can do. If I were to try and take out his base, even at this stage in the game, right now, I bet he would have a reasonable chance of winning the game. If I were to commit into that base, he might still be able to win with his Blademaster and harassment. So I'm not going to do it. Instead, we'll go back to my vision. I have my 3 first Frostworms here. I'm picking off a couple of peons. So minimal, but I'll take the experience. It'll slow down his wood. It'll be a pain for him. It's not what he wants to deal with. And here he is, trying to sneak out. But I've got my scouts out. He puts down another Sentry Ward, but he can't get out of his base. He can't get out of his base. I still have my ghoul patrolling over here, just checking the 2. It should be a shade, but I had a ghoul on hand, so I used a ghoul. And with my 3 Frostworms, I'm going to take out a burrow. It doesn't matter to him. Like he's not building an army, but just slowly pick away. It's a long, tedious strategy. You can see I'm frustrated at this point. This guy's just... Nobody likes playing against this strategy. So I'm a little frustrated. I give the preemptive good game, and he doesn't respond. So keep going. Take out another burrow. This burrow's next. But I can't commit into there because of the towers, and towers deal extra damage to Frostworms. So I pull back, and now I'm in here. I'm going to try and take out the Spirit Lodge and the War Mill. Just a little extra expenditures for him. And the rest of my army, I'm patrolling. This guy just scouted. I don't know why it's not showing, but it did reveal that he had a Great Hall. So what the Blademaster did... Where's the Blademaster? Here he is. So now he went. He did manage to creep the entire red camp by himself, which, blows my mind a little bit. And then he placed a tiny Great Hall. So even 30 minutes into the game, I've had him on one base stuck for so long. The Blademaster was able to expand. Right? So this is why, against an Orc player, who's doing this strategy, be patient. Just keep an eye on the expansions, because even though he's still in the game and I can't take him out right now, if I don't let him expand, he's still going to lose eventually. So the one Blademaster comes, he is able to take on 3 Frost Rooms. He takes one out and then has to retreat, which I find a little frustrating. I pull these 2 away, but he's done significant damage to them. Meanwhile, I'm over here taking out his expansion attempt, which is so critical. Had he gotten that up, he would have started pumping up peons. There would have been like 10 towers across the high ground again, and that would have been another one of these bases that's impossible for me to take out. So instead, I caught it on time with my proactive scouting because I had a ghoul patrolling back and forth. And now I decide I'll creep this because I understand he's able to creep it by himself, so I might as well get the experience in item. And then I'm going to either expand to both of these, or I'm going to keep a shade on it, because that's the only way I lose this game. It's the only way I lose this game. I cannot outright win right now, but I also can't lose if I keep these. So I'll speed it up again. The game's going to go on for a little while. You see I have a big group of Frostworms now who are 3-1 upgraded. I'm going to go and take out that War Mill, because without a War Mill he can't build towers, so I thought, waste a little more gold. He's got to be running low at this point. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Frostworms against the Blademaster, and he's able to take out a Frostworm. So that's still like frustrating, right? That's really indicative of the power of the Blademaster in these kind of strategies against an Undead on this kind of map. If I had committed, with this much support plus his siege, a Blademaster can deal so much damage, and he would have picked it off. Fortunately, I get another kill here. That's really big for me. He somehow still has the gold to resurrect, and he's still being a pain. I'll speed it up. I get the War Mill, I get the Spirit Lodge. I still can't go in. He's resurrecting his hero. I now have a shade here. I have a shade here. I own all 3 expansions. This shade doesn't need to be here anymore, but whatever. And I'm going to play so cautiously now. Towers, look how well towers do against Frost Rooms. You have to be careful with your micro. So I regroup, come, heal with my statues, take out a tower, use a death coil, heal a bit with my statues, go in, kill a tower. It's tedious, it's slow, it's not the game you're going to want to play. It's the game the Orc is forcing you to play. And it's still beatable. It's still very beatable by playing it long and slow like this. So I think if people start employing these kind of strategies instead of trying to take the Orc out early or I don't know, like not fully committing to the defense of your expansions, like just take the time and put a shade at every single one. Spend the resources, build the sacrificial pit. It's time consuming, but that's how you nullify this Blademaster harass strategy. So you can see I expanded here. I didn't go to the far ones because if the Blademaster were to sneak by and get down, that's a really tough expansion to defend. Same with this one. It's a lot of ziggurats in order to create the full wall off. Unless I'm building a graveyard, these guys should be harvesting. This one, if he's harassing it, my army's going to be right here. So it's a lot harder for him to get to. And now, well, like it has been for the past 20 minutes, I'm just going to continue slowly sieging him out. Blademaster is still really difficult for my Frost Rooms to deal with. I still can't take the high ground. It would be really nice if I had Death and Decay right now, but I feel like it's too late in the game to try and pick up a Lich and go for level 6. So I'm just patrolling around with my Frost Rooms, seeing if there are any more peons I can pick off or some buildings that are not defended. There aren't, so look at that. I lose 2 Frost Rooms just for trying to take out 1 tower. The Blademaster gets level 6 off of me. Again, not able to go up there. So now I'm starting to think he's got to be even lower on resources. He's got just this clump left. I can try meat wagons again. So see, I'm building meat wagons because I've got the aerial army still to protect them. So I'm going to do some poke and prodding. I have 2 level 5s at this point, so I know like if I can absorb a bit of damage, Frostworms melt Demolishers. So I am going to finally deal with these damn things soon. I've got my meat wagons coming over, but it's patient, right? It's so patient. I'm just holding position. Like those things can't deal damage to my hero. And now I have meat wagons who have 3 upgrades, 2 upgrades, because I was going ghouls initially, remember? And I'll just take out this barracks. Not because it's a threat, but because it's the first thing in line. I don't want to overcommit. I don't want to draw into his towers. I'm just going to slowly siege him out. The theme of the game is to play it slow, and I'm going to continue playing it slow. Still got my shades with me. He's trying to pick them off and using his sentries, and I'm rallying more shades. So you'll see I have a couple throughout this fight. Also, the burning oil does a good job of dealing with shades. There goes another demolisher, and pull back. Oh, and my meat wagon got a tower. And another tower. Blademaster still asleep. And one shot, pull away, because I will die if I stay within range of those things. Heal up. Let my statues do their thing. I'm going to use a coil soon, probably. Maybe not even. Oh, Blademaster comes in, gets a kill on my meat wagon. That's frustrating. Where's the shade? There we go. 2 more shades. I forgot the shade, so I needed more. Killing off my ghouls to allow for more supply, because I think that opens up more meat wagons. Yep. Blademaster shows up again, asleep. And then I'm going to focus him a little bit of damage, sleep him again. Now I'm going to wait for my cooldown on Death Coil. And the Blademaster's down. And he still doesn't leave the game. This guy still thinks he has a chance, which goes to show how strong the strategy is, because he's good at it with a lot of games played and a good and high ranked on the Azeroth ladder. So he must have come back from games like this. He must think this is still a winnable position, which is crazy to me. But that's how you have to play it. So at this point, I'm sure you can see I win the game. There's no more chance for him because I was patient. So I hope you enjoyed it. This is how you should probably play against orcs who are towering up with a Blademaster in the future. I know there are a lot of complaints about it. I see it all the time. So try this out. And it does carry over for other races as well. With human, just make a point of getting your... I forget what the upgrade's called. The one that gives you your towers reveal invisible. So that's as well against the Blademaster. With orc, it can be difficult, but Witch Doctors and Sentry Wards, that's your play. Get those up around towers, and it's hard for a Blademaster to deal too much damage. And what's the last race? Elf. Well, Elf is a little bit of a different situation, and maybe I'll show that kind of game in the future, but I'm not going to even try and talk about that now. So thank you for listening. I know it was a long one. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck on your future games, and have a great rest of your day.